prepared, we'll begin. Just letting you know, I'm going to be using sketch pencils. It's completely fine if you use regular pencils, but I mostly recommend sketch pencils. If you have regular pencils, it's completely fine. You can still follow along and make a realistic eye. If you're using sketching supplies, start with a HB pencil or a Hedge pencil. If you're using a regular pencil, then just start off really lightly and put really less pressure on your pencil. Okay, so as we're making this eye, I really want you to remember that I understand that this could be a little difficult for people that are not great with pencils. So it is completely fine if you use markers in place of pencils. So markers or color pencils in place of regular sketching pencils. The reason I am saying this is because if you use black markers, it'll give you a much bolder kind of vision. So it's completely under your decision. So I'm just going to start with a nice curve, a nice big curve. All right, so try to make sure that it's not too big or too small or anything like that. Just try to make it similar to mine. Also, just letting you know, if you are having trouble catching up, feel free to pause every time you need to. Okay, so next we're going to make the lower part of the eye. So we'll start with this little line over here, that little line over there. The reason we want that little line over here to be there is because if you look in the mirror and you see your eye, you will see that there's like a little area like right here on your eye that's like poking, like it just makes it look more realistic. So to make this as realistic as possible, we're going to add that. Then we're going to make that into like an upside down, so just go over it like that, nice and well. Next, we're just going to go really light for this bottom area, so just go really light and go under. Don't completely connect your eye, just make it a little nice and low over here. All right. Okay, so once again, I want to remind you, if you need to, please pause if you are having trouble catching up. I don't want you guys to be getting confused. Okay, next we will add in the inside. So we're going to make a little circle here. Once again, it does not have to be perfect. Just do the best you can. Okay, so kind of like a circle-ish, ovalish shape. And again, make sure you're doing a good amount of pressure, not too dark, not too light. All right. After that, we are going to make our eyebrows. So to do that, we're just going to kind of make a little line right here and then make a line over here. So I know you can't see. There we go. I hope you can see now. So we're just going to make a little line right over like this. Not as big as the eye, just kind of over it and kind of like the same size, but not exactly. Then make a little line over there and just go over and over and over and connect it in the end. So we basically kind of have like our outline of the eye. All right, so now we're going to be focusing more inside of the eye. So we're going to like mostly focus inside of the eye. Okay, I know it's kind of a little hard to see, but that's going to be better now because we're gonna switch into a B pencil. As you can see, we're going to switch into a B pencil. So a B pencil is not way too dark, it's just pretty dark, so a good amount of darkness to put. So kind of go over. If you really want your sketching to be pretty dark and bold, then you can go ahead and use a 6B. And once again, if you're using a pencil, then that's completely fine. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna start adding slightly more pressure onto your pencil so that you can make darker lines. Oh my gosh. Okay. And as you're darkening this, you'll see that you're kind of giving life to the eye. It makes it look really nice and bold. Just all right. And we're just going to go over this area. Make sure you're putting a good amount of pressure. Even for the people that are using sketching supplies, it's important for the amount of pressure you're putting. Now I'm just going to outline the eyebrow. So if you're already done with outlining everything, you can just skip forward. If you're falling behind, once again, you can pause. Alright, so we finished outlining everything. You should see that it looks a lot bolder and brighter here after we've outlined everything. So, oh my gosh. So, yeah. Okay, so now we're going to start adding more details to our sketch. So now so inside of our big circle, we're going to put another circle in, but this circle is going to be slightly smaller than the big circle. And then once you've put your circle, just color it in or shade it in. Nice and dark and bold. Alright, so right now it looks pretty strange, I know, so that's gonna change soon. So now we're just gonna make like a squiggly shape. It doesn't matter what kind of squiggly shape you make, and it does not have to look just like mine. Just make a squiggly shape. It really doesn't matter how the squiggly shape looks. As you can see, I mean, no matter what kind of squiggly shape you make, your drawing will still look fantastic. Okay, so I know it still looks weird, but now after this next part, it's going to look great. So continuing with your B pencil, we'll just go over the top right over here. So we're just gonna go over the top with a nice and dark shade. So just go right on top of that squiggly shape. Try your best to not get the shading in to the shape because we just want our sketching to be nice and neat. Alright. Okay, so we're just gonna go, as I said, we're just gonna go kind of over it. It's okay if you kind of went towards the side like this. That's completely fine. Nothing's going to happen. So you can kind of slightly start to see that we're giving the eye more realism. So you can see that we're slightly starting to give the eye more realism. Okay, so we're going, if you're using sketching supplies, switch to a lighter pencil, like maybe a, so I switched to a Hetch, as you can see. If you're using regular pencils, then start to add less pressure. Now, slightly go over the dark shading and slowly start to go under the squiggly shape. Slowly start going under the shape and slightly touch that small circle right there. Okay. So make sure your shading is lighter than your shading that was in the circle, because if the shading is all the same, it'll just look like a black circle. Yep. Kind of go around the eye. You can see that this is kind of coming to life now that we are starting to shade. It looks really good. Okay. So after you've kind of about to reach the bottom of the circle, we're going to switch to an even lighter pencil. So for the people that are using sketching supplies, I recommend switching to a H2 pencil. If you're using a regular pencil, then just add really less pressure, like kind of the amount of pressure you were adding in the beginning. And start to shade the bottom, but just a little bit. Make sure that you're not putting way too much pressure on your pencil. And you're gonna start seeing that this is coming to life. So, slowly go ahead and complete. So we've completed shading the inside of the eye and it looks amazing. So yeah. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is using our H2 pencil, we're gonna start kind of adding some shades inside of the eye. It's not too much shading, just a little to give it more realism. And kind of go under the eye, and